Of the Okpekpe International 10-kilometer road race, a live broadcast coming to you right here on your World of Champions Super Sport. As it is, we more or less rounded up the elite athletes. We have a 1, 2, 3 winners, both male and female. And of course, the first Nigerian has crossed. I'm sure some Nigerians or female Nigerians also have crossed. And don't forget, this is also a race where you can run for fun. So you have a few people who are coming through there because there is about 1,000 medals to be given out to those athletes that come through the finish line. Don't forget also that well, this has come as a result of a sponsorship from some very key persons. Call them friends of the race. Development Bank of Nigeria is one of those. Not forgetting Nationwide Properties Nigeria Breweries PLC, Access Bank PLC, Keystone Bank PLC, and Super Sport. So much to look forward to here, and it seems as though the 2018 edition will be or rather the 2019 edition will be something to look forward to, making it even bigger than what we've seen in 2018. Annie, you know for a fact, of course, don't forget Annie is a legend in the house here, former Olympian and, well, still an Olympian, anyhow you want to look at it, retired or not. But Annie, sports is a media event, anyhow you want to look at it. How big is it that we are seeing this particular race for the first time live on television, as opposed to the delayed broadcast it's been on before now?
Oh, well, it speaks for itself that if a race like this can be important enough to go live, to take 2 hours of airtime, it shows how important that sports, because sports is giving a lot of signals to everybody, not just business, it's not just tourism, it's not just competition, it's a lot of things, that industry that covers a lot of things, and people in Okpekpe now will be telling you that not only are they making new friends, they are making new businesses. The business trickles down to even the lowest person there. The people selling pure water, the people selling, I'm sure they haven't sold as much pure water like this. They sell this once in a year. Because when you have a town of only 3,000 people, and then all of a sudden in one day, 1,000 more people come in there. Double your population. It's a lot of things that are going on. Hoteliers, a lot of people. Don't forget that the keep fit people, the people that are doing it for fun, for fitness, for charity, for recognition in one way or the other. They find this as a very good organized form to come out and run 10 kilometers, because sometimes some people will tell you it's not always safe to do that in the forest and darkness like that. But when you have a race that you can come out with all the protection, with all the security, then you hope that this can take place and be replicated in every state in every month.
All right, there's still more coming your way at the Okpekpe Road Race. Let's catch up with how the VIPs are faring, hoping some of them have not actually got into the SUVs.
VIP race on. You can see the wife of the former governor right there doing her thing. It's really interesting to see that they are doing everything possible to cover the 10 kilometers full Okpekpe race. The VIPs are surely giving everything. In the rain, the governor, as well as the former governor, all doing their things, running their races. That's the most important thing in life. Run your race. As a governor right there in bib number 1. Of course, are the others escorting? No, they are all running their own races. And it's interesting. Now, where is the former governor, Adams Oshiomhole? Where is he? Not in the picture. And of course, where is the Minister for Sport? Not in the picture also. All you have in the picture right there, leading the race, is the current governor of the state in a bib number 1 there. And all that. So, also pot-bellied men running their races, making it happen. And so there you have Adams Oshiomhole now. And it's interesting to see that he is running the race, trying to finish the 10 kilometers, and he's got lots of escorts, if I'll put it that way. And the tweets are still coming in, so let them come in. And of course, it's important that, very nice that you read your tweet on air, right here on your Word of Champions. Former governor of Edo State, during his tenure as governor of the state, the Okpekpe International Road Race was instituted by Pamosi. There you have him, number 1, fist up and all that. He said, I'm number 1, I'm leading the race. But that's the former governor of Edo State, a very interesting character. and more of the athletes are finishing, some of them doing the shaku at the finish line, and that's what the race is all about. And don't forget that the race long ended for those contenders. These ones are not contenders. These ones are there to keep fit.
For the power of continuity and progress. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Some of the girls are still coming through. Those that are just here to keep fit. Okpekpe International Road Race, of course. The road running may offer those involved a range of challenges and those interests such as dealing with hills, sharp ends, varied surfaces, inclement weather, just as we have seen here today, and it has rained cats and dogs. Well, Okpekpe was granted full membership of Association of International Marathons and Distance Races, AIMS, and without that, then you're not doing the right things in terms of road races, and that's why the Association of International Marathons and Distance Races recognizes the Okpekpe Road Race. Of course, it is the only silver label road race in sub-Saharan Africa. The inclement weather really taking its toll now. There you have governor of the state and leading the VIP race right there. And we also like to tell you that My Laps, the sports timing, the global automatic sports timing, is providing the 6th edition of Okpekpe Road Race with an easy-to-use, accurate, and reliable timing system. And that's why you have a great time. Of course, it was invented in about 35 years ago and used in 4th and 5th editions of Okpekpe Road Race. And it's being used also in the 6th edition. And that's the timing that is also being used in marathons like Boston Marathon, Rotterdam Marathon, as well as the Melbourne Marathons. And My Labs technology for the world-class timing of their events. And that's what Okpekpe International Road Race has come up with. Really interesting. The road race was upgraded to silver label in 2018. Of course, the letter came in November 2017, and we're having the interesting race for this year. All right, more of the elite athletes. Yeah, there's some chanting on the background for the governor, who is really, really enjoying himself. And it's not looking like any time of getting tired. As you can see, the bald-headed man in front, that's the governor of the state, of course, still running the race in the rain. So really interesting. Some of them getting tired and having to get into the vehicle and help themselves to the finish line. Both the governor of the state is still doing very, very well in terms of the VIP race that is ongoing. Edo State is the 7th largest Nigerian state by GDP. And some of these athletes get into the finish line in over an hour. They are not part of those competing for the money. They try their best all the same. It's not easy to run a 10-kilometer race early on Saturday morning. But you know, every Saturday morning, many people throng the streets in order to keep fit. And this ones have decided to do it at the Okpekpe International Road Race. A race that is has put Nigeria on the maps, and the prize money increased this year. First prize for the women as well as the man, of course, at $20,000 US. That's a great increment from the 15 that we had earlier on. And of course, the Nigerian athletes, of course, 1 million naira for the men's winner, and of course another 1 million naira for the women's winner. But of course, the second 600,000 naira, and of course third 400,000 naira. Let's cross over into the studio where Moses Praise alongside the Olympic gold medalist in 2000 and Nephew Kodobong right there. Moses, take it away.
All right, it was good to see the governor and the former governor all weathering the storm and are still part of the race. We'll still head into the finish line. We'll see how things are faring in that particular instance. But let's head to the very beginning of the race, where we had some interesting moments there. And it seems as though one particular athlete was running the other way. I mean, first off, we had this man who stumbled, poor guy, and definitely that would eat out of his time. Not like he actually got into the leading park, but then just while we were trying to commiserate with the poor guy, this dude decides, you know what, I'm going the opposite direction because then it's shorter to the finish line. Who does that at the road race? And he's there obstructing people who want to go in the right direction.
It's very funny, but actually it's something that the organizers will have to look at. It's disturbing the flow of the race. We do not know whether he's an actual runner or probably he might have been a genuine runner that maybe he left his something at the finish line.
I know what he left. His phone. Nobody jokes with their phones. Nobody jokes with their phones and all that. But I agree with you. I think this is something organizers need to look at because he was becoming an obstruction to other athletes who wanted to go in. And of course, it's all about the timing. And people don't understand that, you know, every second matters when you are in a competitive race.
Yes, and starting is always very key. As I've said that, once you lose your rhythm from the beginning, it's very, very difficult, almost impossible to get it back from the beginning throughout the race. So a slight obstruction on how you plan your race mentally disorganizes you. And if he actually disrupted any of the elite athletes, some of them will have cause for complaints, and that might not be very good at all. Okay.
Well, we're talking about live broadcast, and we're talking about how important that is for this race, as it is in the face of Africans right now, and everybody's, you know, mentally having that in their mind that, okay, so we have something like this happening instead of a delayed broadcast. So for 2019, you think people will be making mental note of how to prepare themselves for this race, get more elite athletes to come through?
Yes, I believe so, and I believe that next year we'll also have not just getting the elite athlete, we'll have those that will be registering on their own to come in through. We'll see that a lot of people will say, fine, this looks easy, this looks well organized, this looks fine, let me give it a shot. We'll see athletes not just from those countries, we'll see more European athletes that are trying to we have European athletes always looking for a place in Africa to run, and they feel that the terrain is good for them, the tourism potential is good for them, the holiday is good for them, the weather is good for them, and that will help the course of the race. When you have more countries taking part in it, it helps the label.
Also, does this also provide a paradigm shift for most Nigerians who don't believe us Nigerians we are built for long-distance racing? Because the paradigm there is, leave it for the East Africans, let's do the short distance because that's where our strength is. We saw where last year, I believe it was last year or thereabout, or this year, last year Winter Olympics, where we had representatives at the Winter Olympics. That was breaking the ceiling for us. And, well, if you ask me, we seem as Nigerians, we can literally do any sports as long as we put our mind to it and there's some backings.
We must understand that Nigeria is very diverse. It's a very diverse nation, or some people say nations in a nation with nations. And we have people with all sorts of anthropology, and you can always say that we can have long-distance runners, and I've told you many times, I've said times that people from not just the north, from the Langtan area of Plateau states, they're in altitude, their physiology like the Kenyans, we just need to develop that. We sit down and we see some Kenyans winning javelin, we see Kenyans in the 100 meters, Kenyans in the 400 meters. So if they are coming to our territory, it's only right for us to go to their territory and excel there. So I think it's nice for sports. We shouldn't stigmatize ourselves with one particular sport. We must spread out. When we see that most of the sports in which we feel that are best sports and we're not really the best in the world, we are a very passionate soccer-loving nation, but we see that we also have countries that we used to give 4 or 5 goals, although some of them winning even the Nations Cup. So we should know that there's no sports is not stagnant. Everybody must develop. Before long, you might see a Nigerian marathon or a Nigerian steeplechase winner, and it's not something that we should doubt ourselves about.
2015 saw the innovation of the accurate timing and the engagement of MyLapse sports timing, just to get the timing accurately correct. So I think that was actually a big deal to still keep them till this very moment. How important is that?
It's very important because AIMS, as you know, is an association of international marathon or road racing organization. They are the ones that are very involved in all long distance racing. They actually want to acknowledge or want to recognize. See, in athletics, athletics is all about timing. It's all about results, and we will try to make sure that there's a level playing ground. That everything, the time you get in Okpekpe is the same time you will get in Morocco, is the same time you will get in. And if you're running in Lausanne or you're running in New York, we want to have something. So what are the distinguishing things? What is the constant? And time should be constant. And the type of time, how it is timed, should be constant. So we'd like to have a baseline, not just fully automatic timing. We have to have a timing that we can trust, and we have to have a way it is timed that we know that even if you picked up a Okpekpe and you dropped it in Kaduna, the results would have been the same.
Excellent thoughts. Thank you so much for that, Annie. We're still live here in the studio for the 6th installment of the Okpekpe International 10-kilometer road race. We'll take a breather. Stay with us.
To the inside, help on the line. Astonishing!
Oh no, where's my phone?
Take control of your financial life with the new Keystone mobile app. Easily book or liquidate your fixed deposit to free up funds to sort out your urgent needs. Make instant local and foreign currency transfers, set up recurring bills payment and transfers, and much more. Our app makes banking more accessible and more convenient. Welcome to branchless banking.
Welcome to the 6th edition of the Okpekpe International 10-kilometer road race. If you're just joining us, my word, you have missed out on some of the most fun and exciting moments at Okpekpe. But then don't dismay, because basically there will be a repeat of this, and you can catch all of the actions later on live here on your World of Champions. Yes, it's the first live broadcast of this first silver-labeled road race in West Africa, and that in itself is a big deal. I have with me a Nefok Udobong, who basically is, 2000 gold medalist at the 2000 Olympics and 2004 bronze medalist in the 4x4 100-meter relay. Well, we basically have been running through how proceedings have gone in this particular one. We're happy with how the organizations has happened, with how things have fared. Incidentally, you were betting on a Moroccan, Budat Zakaria. Unfortunately, I don't think he made it into the top 3, but I think this would no doubt be a great exposure for him going forward.
And I'm trying to decide. I think he's the one that fell down. I think that must have...
Okay.
But yeah, well, I think like you rightly said, the Kenyans and the Ethiopians have taken this as their personal...
As their birthright.
More or less their birthright. So they have a vendetta to settle all the time. We saw an Ethiopian clean sweep, and the Kenyans have come out and done the clean sweep. So we would like to see who will do the clean sweep double. That's in the male and female, the sweep first three. The Kenyans almost did it here. The Ethiopians had something to say about that, not allowing them to get the gold from the female. But so far, I think it's been an excellent race. It's been a good advertisement for Okpekpe as a town and for road racing in Nigeria, road racing running in Nigeria as a whole.
What are the indices of success rate of this road race?
Well, in any competition, they'll tell you the first index of success is having the athletes, all athletes that come, return back to their country. That's the first things first.
Security.
So, security. Once you have 10 athletes coming and 10 return home, your competition is not over until the last plane has left. So that's the first index. So once we see that everybody was safe, that we have that. Then we have the timing. That's a very good index, that the timing went on smooth-free. We had a good result, good time. You have also the issue of not really, it's not an index of success of the race, but it's also for the good name of your race and for the athletes, the issue of doping. So we have to be aware that athletes are going to be tested for doping. We hope that we can boast that in this race that we didn't have any positive results. That's also an index you can use of an index you can use for success of a race or not.
Well, doping is actually very key, if you ask me, and I think that carries a lot of weight as regards credibility of the race in itself. And this is the 6th edition. Well, we're looking forward to the 6th, but the last 5, there hasn't been any issue, and that definitely has to be a thumbs up to the organizers.
Well, you can. Are you going to give the organizers credit for the athletes not doping? It's a thumbs up to the athletes.
Well, for respecting the rules, for respecting the rules in itself of their race, I think that's a lot of respect they've given to the organization and all that. Yes. I agree with you, no doubt. The athletes has to be appreciated for this. And the beautiful thing is also, it's not as though we've had the same set of athletes every year. There's always been a mix at different times, and that's why we have different winners for both the male and the female every year. No one athlete has actually won it twice in this particular race.
That shows the competitiveness of the race, and it also shows that most of the time the athletes are invited on current form. And you look at Okpekpe takes place most of the time in May, 5 months into the year. So we've seen athletes have run 3-4 races, and within that you can choose which athletes are most likely to do very well. So athletes on current form, it helps them. And Okpekpe takes part at the time of the year, which is very key, is that it takes part just about 2 months more normally before the big events of the summer. If it's the World Championship, if it's the Olympics, the Commonwealth this year was an aberration, but normally but July, August is where the big races are. So Okpekpe will always be the testing ground for those that are coming to run the 10 kilometers and the 20 kilometers. I think if we get to a point that it becomes a gold medal race and we have people like Mo Farah and the rest coming to run in this race, and of course that will make Okpekpe one of the biggest races in the world.
You know what? I understand what my desire is for this Okpekpe race as a Nigerian. But if I were to ask you professionally, for one who's been there, done all of this, 15 years into this race, what would you like to see as benchmark?
Well, as a benchmark, we'd like to see at least 25 nations from 5 continents participate in the race. That will really give it the international feel. Then you'll also, by 25 years, to show that you've developed something back home, you'd like to see Nigeria being very competitive in the race, probably the first 5 in a field of about 20 international athletes.
I think that's actually a big deal. But I want to see money come into the economy. I think that's actually big. I would like to see the Edo State growing bigger than what it is. I would like to see other states coming in and say, you know what, give us your templates. It's functional. It's creating the tourism awareness, because that's a key thing I also want to touch on. Tourism, even though we did talk about it earlier on. I mean, there are things that Benin and Edo State are known for. I would expect that when athletes come through, these are the things that they should look out for, because if you're looking at Okpekpe as it is, it's got fertile farmlands. So basically, food will be great there. The weather is absolutely amazing. The hills, the mountains you talked about, all of this place could be a tourist attraction if Edo State will look into that.
Yes, I think they should develop that. They should put up a tourism manual for each person that comes in, when people come, because not just competitors, visitors are going to be coming in, and the bigger the race grows, the label increases, more tourists will come in and try to find out where is Okpekpe, what is it all about. And coming to Okpekpe is not just coming to Okpekpe, it's not just coming to Nigeria in general, it's coming to Benin City, and you know Benin City is the home of culture. We know we can't take that away. Some of our biggest cultural artifacts are somewhere in London, and we hope that we try to let people know that those are actually It's actually from the Benin City. We saw, some of us that watch Black Panther saw some things down there.
All right, Eddie had to go there. Let's head to the finish line and listen to Chisom.
Because he actually trained for 3 months for this, and he returned in 4 to 6 minutes. That's something most of us can't do, even with all the training we've had. So, first off, congratulations on finishing the race. You never die, Abby?
No, at all. I'm happy that I'm able to finish it. It was an endurance race, and I told myself I wasn't going to run with the VIPs. I wanted to run with the professionals. Though it took 3 months of training, though. But the good news is that I ran all through and I finished the race.
All right, let's talk about Okpekpe this year. It's bigger, it's better, it's live on television. What's your take on this achievement?
Yes, our target is going to be gold labeled, and we are improving. Every year there's an improvement. This year we have a greater improvement in terms of facility, in terms of management of the race. There are many things we have to do to make it better so that we can get to our target. And also super sport. Very well, I saw the whole divan, and with what I saw there today, the coverage worldwide, coupled with what we have done on ground, I'm sure we are the gold label is sure.
Definitely, that silver label is amazing. But now we have a good crop of Nigerian athletes who are getting better with their time. The weather wasn't great, but we saw some level of improvement. Let's talk about how this race helps build up athletes for Team Nigeria.
Yeah. As a government in Edo State, we are repositioning our sporting activities in Edo State. All sports, from football to athletics, all. And we are about building 20 stadiums across the local government. So what we intend to do is to use sport also to deal with the issue of illegal migration, keeping them at home, making them skilled, making them useful for themselves. And you know, sports also create unity and create bond. This era of insecurity, we can also use it as a unifying factor. But for Edo State, we are building our youth to have something doing, at the same time bringing out their skills that will make them more competitive in terms of national and international tournaments.
All right, congratulations on finishing your race. We are really proud of you indeed, because most people out there can't finish this race, and you were able to do it. 46 minutes, not elite, but brilliant.
Exactly. Next year, I will do 30 minutes.
All right, keep training then. Train for the next year, and we'll be right here to see you again next year. So that's the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu. Very impressive by him. The governor, everybody is still running. He didn't run with the VIPs. He ran with the athletes, and what an achievement it was. Back to you guys.
All right, great one there by the Deputy Governor of Edo State, His Excellency Philip Shaibu. You know what? I like his determination, and the fact that he prepared for it goes a long way to show how big Okpekpe is and how people have embraced it as their thing and also want to put themselves out there as participants.
On a more serious note, that's a challenge to me. 10 kilometers in 46 minutes. I normally do 5 kilometers in 33 minutes. So I'm trying to say 10 kilometers, that's 66 minutes if I should use that as a... So it's actually a very good time. And let's not just take that away. It's a brilliant time. If he did that, he running with the athletes in 46 minutes, it's marvelous. And for someone that's just 3 years training, or 3 months training, I know I must have about a decade of training under my belt. So
No, don't beat yourself up, because I can tell you people who would do that 10 kilometers in 3 weeks. So I think you guys are doing excellent.
Moses, you don't have to describe yourself.
No, I'm not. I'm basically talking about the guys who are in my ears right now, just going back and forth on this one. All right, we're talking about prize money, and this absolutely is the biggest prize money for a road race in Africa, if you ask me. And that in itself just goes a long way to state as it is. $20,000 is what is at stake for winners, and second place comes in with $13,000, third place $9,000, and that's how it goes down till the very 8th person. So if you look at it, that's some good money coming your way. But the beauty is that it's the same prize money for both men and women. Yes,
there's no sexual discrimination in sports, and it's what the IAAF frowns at, and it's what the IOC frowns at. As a member of the Athletes Commission in NOC, we always do that for the Nigerian team, that we say, look, there should be any differentiation of rewards for male and for women. And also, we can also see that the Nigerians are also receiving lots of things. The Nigerian winner is getting ₦1 million, and that's roughly about $3,000. So it's you know that if you win, hypothetically, if you win the race as a Nigerian and you get $20,000, you get also an additional ₦1 million. So it's the endless possibilities to make some money. It's not bad for a 30-minute walk.
That has to be the biggest amount you pay for a 30-minute walk, if you ask me. But as it is, there's a caveat to it, which we just saw on air, and that had to do with the fact that you had to cross the line for 28:30, I think, but you have to run a sub-29 to actually come into those money. And incidentally, I feel bad that the elements of the weather just didn't allow for that, because I felt this was a year where they were going to actually do a sub-28 at least.
Well, very true, but I don't think the athletes will take anything away from that. They've had a beautiful time. They've had a wonderful time in Okpekpe, and I can tell you the Edo hospitality has been there from the time they arrived in Nigeria.
I actually like the emphasis on Edo hospitality. Thank you for that, Stas. But you know what? Again, we have to say a big thank you to Edo State government for more or less creating the ecosystem for this to be to flourish, to be fruitful, and of course to the friends of the race. No doubt, you have to keep thanking people who put the money in to make all of this happen live here on Supersport. Don't forget Development Bank of Nigeria, Nationwide Properties, Nigeria Breweries PLC, Access Bank PLC, Keystone Bank PLC, and of course your World of Champions Supersport. And I think going forward, this should be basically the base for the Okpekpe Road Race. Eddie, it should always be live on television and let people catch it, because aside from being live on satellite television, it's also live on terrestrial TV.
No, Okpekpe can't go back. You have done so much. They've done so much in coming live. They can't go back. They've set a standard, and once you set a standard, the only thing now is to probably put it up in take it up into more stations and make it wider. There's no, you've set a standard for yourself. You've got to keep it.
All right, those are the Supersport vans there, and we had quite loads of them actually out there to make sure that we bring the best coverage of this particular event. And the beauty also is the fact that it's also live streaming. So aside from getting it live on television, as we see, we're also seeing it on social media. You can catch all of the action there. So just in case you are not close to a television set, or as long as you got data on your iPad or your phone, you can see the best of it. And that's what it should be, any compared to where we're coming from, where most of the things we had to see were always delayed broadcasts. I'll take your thoughts because Chisom is standing by, probably with another VIP. Let's see who she has with her.
Guys, we're back here. So much fun here. The music in the background is keeping us excited. The theme song is amazing, and the man who's put all of this together is none other than Mike Itemabo, the man in charge of Pamosi, the man in charge of Okpekpe Road Race, the man who came up with this idea is right here with me. Mike, good to have you join us. You're a friend of the family, so I'm not going to keep going with the hailing.
I'm a family member, not just friend of the family. Thank you, Chisom. My pleasure. Having you again the fourth time.
Yeah.
So maybe you're meeting them with Chisom Okpekpe now.
Okay, Mike, let's talk about the weather. Are you disappointed? Do you see it as a half-full glass or a half-empty glass?
I'm not disappointed at all. I mean, it's raining. It's good blessings. These are natural things that's about to happen. It happened at the Boston Marathon. So normally, it's for us to improvise and try and minimize any destruction.
And the good thing now is that if you remember, the Okpekpe Road Race is now a silver label. That achievement is massive, especially going through the target of that gold medal.
In this race, we have the IAAF observer. Of course, they are quite impressed with the fact that the silver label is even taking place in a community in Nigeria. Because the silver label, they just believe that it should be the Western world. So for us, that is a great achievement. And the parameters of silver and gold are the same. live broadcast, which is why Super Sport is doing the live broadcast. And this is the first live broadcast of a 10 kilometer in Nigeria. And for us, we want to always achieve what has not been achieved. That's our own key to success.
And then how difficult or easy was it to get the elite athletes to come? Because that's also what makes a road race, the kind of athletes and the caliber of athletes you have.
Now, the beauty of it is that because it's the silver label race, right? A lot of gold athletes, bronze, other athletes want to come and make their own impression known. So it was difficult, but they were interested. So we had about 27 or so. I must say about 26 gold elite athletes. It wasn't that difficult because of our label. It was more difficult when we were bronze label. You know, for them, they need to make the records, they need to create the records.
And then last year we spoke about that prize money and how much was being given. This time around, the winner goes on with $20,000 and the Nigerian goes on with ₦1 million. That's quite impressive.
Yes, but it's performance-based, so it's not free $20,000. They need to achieve a particular time. If they go above the time, then they drop, the money drops. So we put performance tied to it.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. We're very happy. We're very happy to have you here. Now you go wind down, have a few drinks because you've achieved it. We're very proud of you. All right, now we'll have to take you to a break and we will be right back in the rainy Okpekpe.
This is Adenike, and people like Adenike pay bills online. Why? Yeah. Because she's got better things to do, like keeping herself looking fine. Pay bills, DSTV, airtime, and more from your phone. EcoBank Mobile. Download it now.
All right, we're still live here in the studios of World of Champions, and it's still the 6th edition of the Okpekpe International 10-kilometer road race. We're still having VIPs come through the finish line. We've just heard Chisom talk to us, talk to the Philip Shaibu, who's the Deputy Governor of Edo State. Also spoken to Mikey Tamago, more or less the man behind, the brains behind the Okpekpe Road Race, and hopefully we'll see more of it. I hope we can catch up later on with the Governor of Edo State, His Excellency Godwin I think I lost that his name again.
Obaseki.
Obaseki. Not forgetting the former governor of Edo State, and that's the governor right there. He's coming through. It hasn't been an easy one. Hopefully, he will make it through to the finish in about 2 hours. I think there's like 30 minutes more to go or less. But for His Excellency, we saw him earlier on, Comrade Adamso Shomale. He looks very fit. He looks as though he lives for things like this. He enjoys things like this. We haven't seen Barrister Solomon Dalong, the Minister of Sports. I have a very strong feeling he's somewhere in his SUV, driven to the finish line. All that talk at the beginning of, you know what, I'm going to beat these two people. It's not happening. It's not happening. No, at least not for 2018, it seems.
You cannot talk about my minister there on international TV. He must have been very fast ahead, faster than the cameras. So
why haven't we seen him?
Because he's faster than the cameras.
Oh, we're sorry. Apologies.
Observer who's come to make sure that everything goes well, to observe and write back his reports. And he's also been working really hard to ensure that things go right here. I'm talking about Nori Williamson from IAAF. Now, Nori, welcome to Nigeria. Welcome to Okpekpe. Let's talk about the race.
Thanks very much. It's great to be here. And such an atmosphere. And you know, what, half an hour ago, the skies just opened, and yet you've still got this event going. Listen to the atmosphere in the background. Fantastic for athletics, fantastic for the community.
Amazing for the community, and what makes it even more amazing is that it's gotten the silver label from IAAF.
Yeah, look, there's a world-class field here. And many of these guys will never have seen these athletes. And so a fantastic race as well. Still there right until 9 kilometers. You know, that's an exciting race. The lead changing hands 3-4 times. The hills counting. You know, a very good race, great atmosphere. And, you know, considering the conditions today, it's been quite an event.
And when you think about the community, the way the kids have lined up the streets, the way they've received this, that must be something that you take back to IAAF as a positive.
Well, my role here is one of monitoring, having a look at what's going on, having a look at the organisation. And let's be honest, there have been challenges with this rain, but it's not being knocked down, it's how they recover. And that's what they're doing, and they're recovering well, getting the results out. That's fantastic.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nori, and hopefully we'll see you again in Okpekpe. And there you have it. Everyone's been here trying to ensure that things have gone very well. And what an amazing day it is for the community and for the organizers and for the state as a whole, because Okpekpe is silver label IAAF race has come, and it has been very successful indeed. Back to you guys.
All right, we're still anticipating the governor to get to the finish line. It's gradually moving. But here's one thing that I find absolutely amazing, Annie, is the fact that Chisom has remained spotless. Her makeup remained ever standing in its place. We've seen a disheveled Nori Williamson who's been in the rains. His hair all, you know, wet and the likes. Mikey Temagbo is all scattered. We saw Philip Shaibu, the deputy governor, all of them sweaty and exerted themselves, yet Chisom remains pristine.
She must have a super duper super sports umbrella above her, covering her. I think it's interesting that the government entry is increasing, and the people are probably getting closer to the finish. We've had more runners with the governor than we've had with. At the start of the race, I think.
No, I have to agree with you because I see all of the interviews, and I think the roads are starting to open right now, and of course motorists are looking to come through to finally find their ways to their different destinations. But we'll see how the fair as it continues, and I'm sure they also would have been, well, at least they're on camera right now, so they've actually gotten their moment of fame, if you ask me. But great showing, no doubt, by the people of Okpekpe. And I think let's just talk about what Norrie Williamson stated earlier on, and you have to agree with him. Being an IAAF observer, what he has witnessed here is the fact that irrespective of how the weather has turned out, the enthusiasm never waned at any point in time. And it looks as though anything a Nigerian touches their hands on, it becomes a festival, it becomes a fun fair, it becomes, the excitement remains at the highest level till the very end.
Yeah, you could hear the DJ and the music going on behind. Throughout the time that Norrie was talking, one thing that Norrie has said, and which is very key, is that the rain came down almost without warning. It's opened up, and then the people are still outside running. You can even see that from the governor and the VIPs are still on the streets. The music is still playing. The music, the DJs are still there. So it hasn't dampened the enthusiasm at all. Not if at all, it has even made it more of a festival. And that's something that it happens everywhere, and it's a big positive for the race and for the race organizers.
All right. Basically, we're seeing how things are turning out there at Okpekpe. The roads are finally getting open as we head off to the final destination where everything will more or less be rounded up. It's good to see Ralph has joined us here. And Ralph, I don't know if it was raining where you were, but we were well sheltered in this part here. But then it seems as though the excitement still remains to be at the topmost level.
You know, I'm sure most of the athletes enjoyed the rain. It might not be the athletes that were interested in improving the time. Of course, setting a new record for the Okpekpe race. But it's natural that it has rained and you're running without any heat on you. That's what it's all about, and it's interesting to behold.
Okay. Well, we've seen how things are fared in that particular instance. We're waiting to see what the top 5 is looking like for the elite athletes, and we're also trying to see for men and women how Nigerians have fared in this one. Don't forget also the government of Edo State is looking to, reward some Edolites who also crossed the line at a very, very good time. So I think it's a fun fair for a lot of people. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's something that we probably have not harped on because not within the curfew of the organizers. That the elites get their prize money, the top Nigerians get their prize money, then the government will reward the indigents, those that have completed race and those that do well. And it encourages more and more to come out because not only are you saying that, okay, the people from Lagos or from Plateau or from Kaduna will take their money, they have money reserved for them. So no matter how well they do, all they have to do is come out and they have to participate. And that's very encouraging for the state as a whole.
We saw the deputy governor, who Chisom actually had an interview with, across the finish line in 46 minutes. And you know what? It didn't hit me until Annie actually pointed the fact that, you know what, that's a very, very good time for someone of his age, and of course having to have trained for just 3 months and to have crossed the line for that time. And I was saying, you know what, Annie shouldn't beat himself up. There are people like Ralph who finish it in 3 weeks, in 3 months. So, I mean, Ralph, you have to appreciate what he's done here.
Yeah, Shabi is a young man. It's not an old man. So that's why he has decided...
Is that your excuse, Ralph?
No, I can compete with him. I'll probably beat him too. But he has looked at himself and seen that...
Let me pause your thought there, Ralph, because these are the prizes for Nigerians who finished who breast the tape at the finish line. But then it's performance induced as it is because they have to cross the finish line at 29.004. And this is a worry because even the elite athletes, well, they did that in 29, I think, almost 30 minutes. And it looks as though we just might not be seeing any Nigerian nick that 1 million that was at stake. Compared to a few years when it started, the prize money for Nigerians was capped at 250,000 for the winner. So I think things have improved. So this time around, what they're saying is, I think it makes a lot of sense, if you ask me, for a race that is now silver labeled. We should see great performances coming from the athletes.
Exactly, especially from the Nigerians, because let's not every year will make it also run for the Nigerians. No, because since we have these events coming up every year in, year out, the Nigerians should now prepare themselves the more. The Athletics Federation should also encourage Nigerians. We have high performance centers. they should take advantage of that. The plateau where you talked about, so that has churned out some of the long-distance races, Adamawa, Taraba, these are zones that Nigeria, the Athletics Federation should, zone in to produce some athletes that will compete, because we need to also go out and compete at distant races.
We should start taking our priorities right, because sometimes we feel that, okay, we want to go to the World Championships. The truth about it, the winner in each event in the World Championship gets $10,000. So, I mean, if you're thinking finance, like you pointed out to me the other time, I would rather prepare for Okpekpe Race than to prepare to travel for the World Championship, because it's financially more viable to me. But having said that, we also have to say that compared to 250,000 they were earning before, those that don't even meet the time to get 1 million get $500,000. So it's still more than what they were getting before. So it's way of encouraging them.
I agree with you, and I have to absolutely agree with you. And of course, great thoughts are from Ralph on that one. Let's head to the finish line. Chisom is standing by with our favorite governor, past governor, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole.
Well, the VIPs keep rolling in, and it doesn't come bigger than the man I have right next to me, the man who was the first to start this Okpekpe Road Race. I'm talking about the former executive governor of Edo State, His Excellency Adams Oshiomhole. Again, he's completed his race. We're not surprised. Congratulations. We see you all the time. Over 70 and still.
Not yet 70.
Not yet 70, almost 70, 66, but still running.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good. The first year, so 5 years ago, I think it was, I made it in 91 minutes. And last year, it was 83 minutes. And I think this year, about 67 minutes.
Unbelievable. You shaved that time.
And I think what shows is that, this is about determination, it's about will, it's about working out all the time and build up your strength. And it's a tough fight, but I'm happy that I'm able to make it.
And then this is a silver label event at the IAAF, and you have now participated in it, and you have run all the way as usual. You're not one of those who gets on a bike or gets in the car. You've completed it this time. Let's talk about what it means for the community to have a silver label race here in Okpekpe.
I think it's for them and for me, and I believe for the people and the government of Edo State, this is the whole idea. But we shouldn't lament away rural poverty. It would disappear. What the rural people need is not our tears or our sympathy. They want effective development, and the starting point is to provide those basic infrastructure. And once those ones are there, every other thing rolls on. I'm sure the community is excited, very excited. The people are excited. You can see them smiling, and they're cheering the athletes and all of that. And even we so-called old people participating, they are excited. And I think it's a special day for them. Even on a Christmas day, you will find this collection of people at home. So I'm happy that the community have, through this silver label, is now effectively integrated, in the international calendar. I'm happy for Okpekpe people, and I'm happy for Governor Basiki, who has sustained the tradition, and I'm happy for the organizers.
I'm very happy as well for everybody. Very happy to see you again, and hopefully we see you in 2019.
It will be super sport as usual. We'll be there, God willing.
Thank you very much. And there you have him. He's always completed his race. He's always continued, and he's always supported this. We'll see him again in 2019, and we will send you right back to the studio. But remember, we still have the executive governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, coming up.
We'll catch up with him very, very shortly, Older, but you have to appreciate what he's doing. It looks as though he's taking this race very seriously with how he's shaving off his time.
Every year he keeps improving, right from the when he was the governor. During his time, the race was instituted, and since then he's been improving his timing and all. Well, for a former Labour leader, you should know the energy is there.
It is still there, no doubt. The winners at the end of the day are the community of Okpekpe.
The winners are the community. They do winners in all aspects, and I'm really impressed in the mentality of the former governor. He's kept his records, he's shaved it every time, and he has an athlete mentality. And unfortunately, many athletes don't have that mentality. They're coming in, they want to run, and they want to win money. But look at how well you've run, and look at the progress you've made, and that's the start of being a champion.
Excellent thoughts there. We'll take a break again, and of course, we're still live here in the studios for the Okpekpe Road Race.
With speed and determination, boundaries are broken. Knowing that every form of friction reduces your chances of winning, you think of your why. Why am I doing this, you may say. At that point, the only thing greater than title is service. Access Bank. Speed, service, security.
The festivities still continue as regards the 6th installment of the Okpekpe International 10-kilometer race. We've seen the elite athletes go through. We've seen the Nigerian athletes go through. We've seen a few VIPs come through also. Don't forget, the race is all about competitiveness. It's all about running for charity and for fun. Interestingly, we have the oldest athletes standing by with Chisom.
All right, guys, this race is for everybody. It's open to everybody. You just have to register, for the old, for the young. And with me here is the oldest registered runner for Okpekpe Road Race for 2018. Jim Garba joins me here, and he's done what even I cannot do. That's not to say I'm young, but Jim, congratulations for running and for finishing the race. But why did you decide to run?
Thank you very much. Marathon is a game of willpower, determination, and the devotion not to give up. I want to showcase and tell the elders that we must continue to struggle and never give up. And the youth should emulate us to struggle, and never really giving up. So I will not give up, and I'm going to try.
And this is not your first year, this is your third year. What was special about this year?
Yeah, this is my third time. In the previous ones, I know I've done it almost maybe 100 minutes, but this time I think I made it going back to about less than 70 minutes.
Right, and congratulations, we're very proud of you. Keep running. Hopefully we'll see you again in 2019.
Thank you very much.
All right, there was Jim Garuba, but he's not just the only one that I have. I also have the youngest runner right here, the youngest runner at the Okpekpe Road Race. How proud am I of this young man, just a few years older than my son. Tell us your name.
My name is Abibu Shaibu of Okpekpe student. My school is Okpekpe Secondary School, Okpekpe. I'm 15 years old.
Wow, you're 15 years old. Why did you decide to run?
I want to...
Tell me why you decided to run.
I want that if I learn that I carry first, I want to learn to run.
Is this something you want to do professionally? Do you want to be like all those winners that you just saw today?
Yes, ma.
Right, and what kind of training do you do now? Do you do any sport in school?
Yes, ma.
What sport do you do?
I used to learn a job for the school.
And how happy are you that you have this opportunity to run so that people can see you on television?
I'm happy to see because of our young brother that bring this thing in Okpekpe. That is why that I'm running.
Okay, congratulations. I'm sure your parents are proud of you because I'm really proud of him as well. This is a young Shaibu. Who knows? Shares the same name with the deputy governor of this state. Who knows? Maybe someday we're just looking at a future champion, and who knows? Maybe he'll become a leader someday as well. Shaibu has done it as a 15-year-old, but we can see that maybe we will see him in the future again. Back to you guys in the studio.
We're waiting to see Shaibu do all the lolling he needs to do, I promise you. But you know what? I like his excitement. And that's the thing about Edolites. You know, they are vivacious. They are in your face. They are a bunch of joy, more or less.
Did you hear what Shaibu said? What's your name? I am Shaibu from Okpekpe.
Okpekpe, secondary school, Okpekpe. I mean, he kept putting it in our ears, like you guys have to understand. You know, so that's great. Hopefully, Chisom will come back to us as regards the age of the oldest athletes in this particular road race. But then, that's the beauty of it, Ralph. Getting everybody involved. I liked how Annie puts it. It's a family outing. So basically, I mean, we watch TV together as a family. We go shopping together as a family. Why don't we also exercise together as a family?
And run the race as a family. But even when you run it as a family, you run your race. That's most important. And for that young man, you know, the emphasis on the town or the village, Okpekpe, tells you a lot about a town or a village that is no longer the same. You know, every year, people throng that village because of the race. And, you know, some of them get sleepless nights, you know, just anticipating the race and all that. So it's really interesting that the village has been put on the map and all over the world. On IAAF website, the village of Okpekpe is well represented. And that's a joy for me.
Very importantly also, you will learn how to pronounce Okpekpe. That is actually stated clearly there for you.
I was thinking the other time, seeing the Obi van, Super Sports Obi van going through, I can just see the excitement of the children.
No!